Here's a big heavy scoop. I'm told that Peter Thiel is an FBI informant. I know Peter Thiel. I've hung out with him. He said he wanted to meet me once. I said, anytime, dude. You're a billionaire. I'll meet you anytime. He goes, oh, that's good, actually. That's very convenient because I wanted to meet you before I start my day. Let's start at breakfast. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll meet you at my place at 8 a.m. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm doing that. So I got up at 6. It takes me about an hour to get into the city these days. So I was on the 7 o'clock. I'm hungover, so I had like a huge thing of coffee. And then we sit at his house, and I could tell, and this has happened to me a few times, I could tell he was disappointed with my IQ. You could just smell it in the room. Like I bet ugly girls, when they go on dates and the guy sees that you're not like you are in the picture, that you could probably see in their eyes them sort of go, oh, okay, I'll pay for dinner, but this isn't going to last. Yet you had all these questions like, why do you think that women are recently so interested in politics? And I was like, it's fashion, whatever. Like my answers weren't good. I think it happened with Joe Rogan too. I had like a quarter of an Adderall and 2 beers when I did both his shows. And I think he was like, this guy's a genius. I want to hang out with him. And then we hung out a few times and I wasn't on Adderall. And I was just like, I think I got a fart, but it might be a shit. And he's like, what? Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom and just sit down for this fart just to be safe, okay? Will you be here when I get back? No, you're dumped. And I went to, he's got these weird dinner parties with lots of rules. Like you got to show up and you sit here and sit there. Then you got to leave, get out of here. And I realized while criticizing these parties that that's exactly what I would do if I was a billionaire. Everyone I find remotely interesting, come to my house at 7, entertain me, and then off. But I never thought of him as a Fed. And the problem with Fed talk is, what's a Fed? Like, is a Fed, what are you saying to the Feds? Are you just like meeting with them because you're curious? Like the least kind of invasive Fed is the Proud Boy who got caught with guns and they said, you're going to do 20 years. And he says, okay, I'll tell you if they're planning an insurrection. And then he never tells them because they aren't. That's bad still. You're still a type of snitch, but you're the least snitchy snitch. But then the worst part is like the other end is with that racist group with the khakis on. What do they call Patriot Front? Where they like went to military school and became federal agents, and now they're pretending to be Nazis. So that's the spectrum. Where is Peter Thiel on the spectrum? In the summer of 2021, Thiel began providing information as a confidential human source to Jonathan Buma, an FBI agent who specializes in investigating political corruption and foreign influence campaigns. Like, that could be innocent. It could be like, I'm really suspicious about China. I think they're doing this. So that's a good Fed in a sense. Charles Johnson, who we know, we had him on the show. In fact, we replayed the show on the weekend. If you look at the Gavin McInnes show, it's Charles Johnson there. We kind of went underground. He helped me with the SPLC case. And he's invested a ton of time and money into facial recognition software. He's a genius. But there's certain lines you can't cross, apparently. Charles Johnson, a longtime associate of Thiel's and a notorious figure in the far-right movement that Thiel has subsidized for a decade, told Insider a statement that he helped recruit the billionaire as an informant by introducing him to Buma. Why would you tell a journalist that? A source with knowledge of Thiel's relationship to the FBI, whose identity is known to Insider, but who insisted on anonymity, corroborated Johnson's account, telling Insider that Johnson brokered a relationship between Thiel and Buma. Insider was able to confirm through an additional source that the FBI added Thiel to its formal roster of registered informants. That's pretty good journalism, I got to say. Like, I don't know where he is on the spectrum, so that's bad, but like, getting Charles Johnson and then an insider in the FBI to confirm. This reminds me of old school journalism where they, like, the journalist knew cops. And he's like, yeah, apparently this new chief's full of shit. And he has something on the sergeant. So that's why they pushed him up the line, because he could up the whole careers. You know, that kind of insider. Oh, it's called insider. So that's impressive and curious. I wonder what Thiel's reaction will be. Don't go through the whole interstitial for these, but we have a new Joe Biden. Just change the background to Biden.
So, hey, welcome back to the show. I'm not surprised with this one. This is an older story, but no one really talked about it. I'm surprised people didn't talk about this one the way it should have been talked about. Peter Thiel is a really weird... I've talked about him before. It's been a minute since I've talked about him, too. And largely just offhand, he's kind of like a faux Elon Musk. Now, him and Elon Musk were longtime business partners. They founded PayPal together and a few other ventures. Peter Thiel and Musk split ways probably 20 years-ish ago, and have not seemed to be very close to my knowledge, and at least not from anything I've observed since then, and neither really talk about each other anymore. Peter Thiel is also one of those crazy, insane tech billionaires. He went on to find... Well, let's just pull it up real quick. I'll show you. My mouse works. But here's a few, for example. PayPal, Palantir Technologies, OpenAI, like, you know, the people behind ChatGPT. That's also his company. Founders Fund, Clearium Capital, Thiel Capital Management, Thiel Foundation, Comfinity, Valor Ventures, and Breakout Labs. He also, as far as this thing come up, had a dating app. He launched a very sketchy fucking dating app. Just days. Days. I guess it was a year. Feels like it was way closer, but about a year after January 6th happened, Peter Thiel launches an app called Right Stuff. And there's like a quiz you go through where you answer it. And a lot of the questions are pretty normal, but there's a few colorful ones slipped in there. Such as ones asking you, how do you feel about January 6th? Were you at January 6th? Would you date someone who was? All of these are 3 separate questions that were on this dating app. Yeah. I've never trusted Peter Thiel. I've talked shit about this guy insanely. I trust him way less than Elon Musk. Peter Thiel will say all this conservative shit and then, like, shadow fund tons of Democrat candidates. He's low-key, like, a villain. He's not a great guy. And, what is the conservative version of Tinder? If you want to go into it more, this is the article we read at the time. Yeah, October 2022. Wow, I guess. Almost 2 years afterwards. I guess it's been about a year since this app launched. Oh, but my God. What's your response? January 6th was. Ugh, it's a shame. And but yeah, it asks you a bunch of really fucking weirdo questions about things like January 6th. What are your views of it? What are why is this not playing? Now it's gonna just place. Oh, really? There we go.
Today, we brought in a group of conservative young women and wanted to get their honest opinions about what they're looking for in the guys they date. What are you looking for in a partner?
They just have to be a conservative.
Definitely someone that wants to have kids.
I like an independent man. Personally, I like the alpha male vibe.
I want a man who really loves his family.
Definitely someone whose faith is important to them.
For me, it's someone who actually wants to meet my parents.
Why do you want to date a conservative?
For me, at least.
But what about the Sigmas? Where's the love for the guys who don't need love?
I know that we're going to start off with some shared values.
Well, the conservative men I've dated at least know how to treat me like a woman.
In my personal experience, conservative guys have better manners.
I like that they understand their role in the relationship as a man.
I just prefer my men to be masculine.
And what's the biggest red flag when it comes to dating?
A Democrat. No Democrats.
A Democrat.
Can't be a Democrat.
A Democrat.
That's easy. A Democrat.
No Democrats. So no.
Find the right match. Download the right stuff today.
Yeah, didn't all those feel kind of stock, kind of like fake questions and shit? Like stock responses, like when you ask a politician a question, they're like, well, I love God and religion and the country, and you know what I don't like? Those Democrats. They don't know the difference between a man and a woman, I tell ya. It's like, yeah, great, but still, like, you know, there's facts, and then there are things that are facts, but also read like they're off of a fucking U-Haul truck. And that's one of them. But right here, Peter Thiel was an FBI informant report. The FBI allegedly told Thiel not to discuss his interactions with Trump or other politicians. Yikes. Katie Daviscourt. Now, how did this just go untalked about? October 22nd, 2023 is when this first came out. Tech billionaire and GOP mega donor Peter Thiel has been revealed to be an FBI informant according to a new exclusive report. Thiel, 56, who co-founded PayPal, reportedly became a confidential human source for the FBI in the summer of 2021, per Insider. That's the Biden administration, mind you. The allegations came from Charles Johnson, a tech investigator and longtime associate of Thiel, who spoke with the outlet. Insiders write that Johnson had stepped forward with his expose because... You meant to add that little gay period over the E. You know that E that identifies as an I, so it wears a little gay hat? That one. It should be expose. It's Leviosa. Because of the perceived bad decisions by Thiel's Founders Fund, among other things. Confidential Human Source, CHS, is defined by FBI policy as a person who provides, quote, valuable information on a recurring basis to the agency. The guide states that the source enters, quote, into a relationship with the FBI. That relationship will forever affect the life of that individual. Quote, they will be either an FBI source or former FBI source, and in turn, his or her conduct or misconduct will reflect upon the FBI. Yeah. About that. So, yeah, this just happened. Just happened. November 7th. Raymond was arrested in San Diego in October of 2020 and has been held without bail in Washington, D.C. jail for over 3 years. Raymond first pled guilty to federal charges of sexual abuse and transporting obscene material. Yeah. Guys. Yeah. Hey, guys. Yeah, this guy, while working for the CIA, used his CIA training to rape women. And then the CIA took the rap for it for most of the time. It wasn't until he got really inconvenient that they get rid of him. I'm planning on doing this, giving this guy his own episode. Don't worry. But since it came up, Bud, are you sure? Yeah, sorry, Bud. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Will reflect upon the FBI. Until it's no longer convenient for it to reflect upon them, then they throw you under the bus to get rid of you because you're a loose fucking end. And what happens when people of prominence and power go into prison these days? Well, they don't JFK people in public anymore. I'll put it like that. I'm still getting this gunk out of my chest. Thanks, Dylan. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Dylan Mulvaney jokes. About that involve me, at least. Forever affect the, the guide states to the source enters into a relationship with the FBI, and that relationship will forever affect the life of that individual. they will be either an FBI source or a former FBI source, and in turn, his or her conduct or misconduct will reflect upon the FBI. Thiel reportedly became an informant to Jonathan Buma, a Los Angeles-based FBI agent who specializes in investigating political corruption and foreign influence campaigns. Johnson was the one to recruit Thiel to be an informant, orchestrating a meeting between Thiel and Buma, the outlets report. By the way, I just want to say right now, Katie Daviscourt did not kill herself. Moving on. Johnson also claimed that he was an informant who worked with Buma. A source confirmed Johnson's account of events, and Business Insider said it was able to confirm the FBI added Thiel to a formal roster of registered informants through an additional source. Yeah, right underneath Ray Epps. A person close to Thiel also told the outlet that the billionaire had spoken to Buma on multiple occasions, and alleged that any information Thiel had given to Buma was part of the billionaire distancing himself from past GOP campaigns, such as former President Donald Trump, who Thiel backed in 2016 with a $1.25 million donation. That's right, folks. So I said a long time ago, the only real concern you have when it comes to these lawsuits is seeing who turns into a snake. How much you want to bet? They came to Thiel and said, hey, you were friends with Trump. Buddy, we don't even care if you are or are not guilty of something. We'll ham you up for that. And look at society. It's all turned against you right now. When you look at where society was in 2021, it looked like that. I mean, I was saying you're going to see a cultural shift since 2020 itself, but you just go up to Peter Thiel and be like, hey, bud, no one's safe. We get everybody. We got Epstein. And you were friends of his. We know that. So he says we can't get to you. Tell us stuff. Talk to just us. And we'll go from there. Alright, bud? It'd be a shame if you slipped and cracked your neck. It would be a shame for you to slip and fall. Tragic. Right? Some pressure campaign. Maybe it's not even as grandiose as the one I just pulled out of my ass just now. But Johnson told the outlet that Thiel is believed to have provided insight into foreign contacts and any of their attempts to infiltrate Silicon Valley. The outlets report that his theory was backed up by Thiel's calls for government agencies to investigate Google's ties to the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. I did give him credit for that, though. I will give him. I will oust myself there and say I thought that was a fair call. Johnson also claimed the FBI instructed Thiel not to report interactions he might have with Donald Trump to other U.S. politicians. Peter Thiel has helped bankroll additional GOP candidates, including Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio and former GOP Senate candidate Blake Masters of Arizona. Thiel has reportedly contributed $15 million to affiliate political action committees and campaigns. According to the outlet, Thiel is involved with multiple companies that have done business with the FBI, and his business interests rely on government agencies. Thiel owns 10% of Palantir, a data company that has supplied the federal government, including the Pentagon, CIA, FBI, and National NSA. Yeah, the one that spies on you 24/7. Hey, I did a deep dive into this. You can look it up on yourself. Just look up Loveint. Loveint. One word. Go down that rabbit hole. Enjoy never sleeping soundly again. Like, you think the government's spying on you? You have no fucking clue, sweetheart. It's so much worse than you even think it is. Not even in your most Alex Jones soaked wet dreams do you come within a fucking cunt hair of how fucked the government's ability to watch you actually is. Loveint is like, it seems real like, oh, now I'm under the water, seeing the bigger part of the iceberg. Dog, your toes aren't even in the fucking water yet. Come on now. but Loveint. Go down that rabbit hole. Fuck you up. Everyone got promoted. No one got fired. Like, all the reports said they got fired. Double check those reports. No one got fired. They all got promoted. Like, one of the current heads of the NSA. Yeah, the website anyoneUp.com. If you know what is anyoneUp.com was, yeah, NSA link. Go down the rabbit hole. Have fun. That's your homework, I guess. I give out homework in this bitch. With software and related services worth over $1 billion in September, Planeteer signed a $250 million contract with the U.S. Army. A financial analyst said that the company is essentially a government service provider. According to Forbes' article from last year, Thiel also financially supported Boldened, a spyware startup that presents itself as an American rival to the Israel NSO Group, a cyber intelligence firm the FBI bought and tested products made by NSO. So it's NSO just commandeered by the states, which, by the way, we paid for all their shit already. So how funny is that? We already paid for all of Israel's defensives. So how funny. Man. I know what Benjamin Netanyahu's so fat he ate our tax dollars. In August, FBI agent Bouma became a whistleblower and testified before Congress that his investigation into Rudy Giuliani and whether or not he had been compromised by Russian agents was thwarted by the Trump administration. And that would be the death of Russiagate. During the testimony, Bouma claimed that FBI had closed its relationship with its most valuable informant, who acted under the codename Genius. Ugh. This informant provided information about the far-right figures and their plans to attack the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2020. I wonder where he got all the information from, guys. The informant was allegedly revealed to be Johnson. Johnson told the outlet they decided to step forward in order to help Bouma and his efforts to transform how the FBI handles its informants. Johnson claimed that he was revealing Thiel's CHS work as payback for what he believes to be poor decision-making on behalf of Thiel's venture capital company, Founders Fund. Johnson told the outlet he felt betrayed that Thiel did not invest in his own startup companies. While it's unclear if Thiel is still acting informant, Johnson told the outlet that he believes the relationship has been severed. Doubt it. Once in, always fucking in. And if your companies maintain this business interest, I hate to tell you, buddy, you're the CEO of the companies. If your companies maintain the connections, you have approved of those connections. No, he's still connected. That being said, I hate to say it. Whoa. Really? I would remember that. That's wild. Anyway. More information is going to come out about this. More people will talk about this, I hope. I know it's been almost 2 months since the story came out, but this is a huge story. One of the biggest names in tech software that operates in daylight as this conservative mega donor moonlights as a shady FBI informant DNC operative who software spies and sells your data, yet comes out and preaches all about data privacy and free the code and all that. No. Be dubious of people for not talking about this one. Raise questions. If you're of the super chat variety, send super chats to your favorite commentators. Ask them why they didn't talk about this. This is a massive fucking story. This is huge. This is political shifting story right here. And I have more coverage coming out about it, and I will be doing longer deep dives into this information, into who Peter Thiel is later on down the road. But this is huge, and we're just whatever. But that being said, this has been Inside Four Walls. I've been your James Madison, and I will talk to y'all later.